Morning, year one. I hope you've all had a lovely half term and are ready to get back to another week of learning. So, as usual, we're starting with our phonics. So, we're going to have a quick spelling test of our tricky words that we've been looking at. So, when I read a word, pause your video so that you can write it down. Number one is there, as in my friends went to their house. So, pause your screens while you write down there. Number two is people. People. Again, pause your screen. Number three is called. Called. So again, pause your screen. Number four is asked. Asked. Again, pause your screen. And number five is could. So again, pause your screen. Okay, super well done. And we've got them up on the board there so that you can have a look. And just if you want to just pause it and just check your spellings and then come back to it afterwards. Okay, so we've got a new tricky word today and it is looked. So it could be like I looked out the window. She looked very nice today. Okay, so practice spelling looked. So write a line of it. And I want you to add your sound buttons to a couple of them as well. Okay, so think about the sounds that are in there. Okay, so pause your screens while you have a go at that. Super job, guys. Well done. So now I want you to write your own sentence with looked in it. So again, pause your screens. Super, guys. Well done. That brings us on to our reading. So we've got a story today called Don't Hog the Hedge. So what I want you to do is pause your screen and have a go at reading it for me. Okay, off you go. Fab job, guys. Okay, we'll read it all together. Goodness me, snorted Hattie the Hedgehog. It's September already. I haven't got time to play. I must finish my hibernation checklist. As the leaves grew crispier and the air colder, Hattie worked hard to prepare her winter home. She snuggled tightly in her cosy and comfortable hedge, just in time for the big sleep. Just as she was drifting off, little footsteps caused her to open her eyes. Who could that be? She grumbled as she stuck her furry and slightly damp nose out of the hedge. 3 dormice, Dylan, Dexter and Doris, popped up out of a patch of fallen leaves. We were just admiring the beautiful home you have made, Dylan squeaked. Could we stay here for the big sleep too? Your nest looks so wonderfully warm and you have prepared it so well, so please, don't hog the hedge. Well, my hedge is only really set up for one, Hattie grunted, but as you're all only little, I can probably find some space for you, just this once. Okay, so we've got some questions to answer. So number one is, why is the title of the story Don't Hog the Hedge? Why is the title of the story Don't Hog the Hedge? So I'm going to put the text back up and I want you to pause your screens and have a think and see if you can answer that on your own. Okay, off you go, guys. Okay, well done. I'm looking forward to seeing those answers. So you might have said it's called Don't Hog the Hedge because it's about someone that's hibernating in a hedge. Okay, and also here, if we have a look, let me just get my pen up. Over on this side, one of the animals says, so please don't hog the hedge. So it's actually something that is said in the story is the title. So you might have picked up on that as well. Okay. Number 2, what was the weather like and how do you know? Okay. So think about what the weather might have been like and how you know. So you have to look for examples from the text to help you. Okay. So pause your screens and have a go at answering that one for me. Well done, guys. Okay, so you might have said that the weather was cold because it says here the air is getting colder. And also it says Hattie worked hard to prepare her winter home. So we know it's winter and we know it's cold. Also, some of you might know that when animals go into hibernation, they do that in winter. Okay, so that helps us to know that it would be in winter and that it would be cold, because that's when animals go and hibernate. Okay, if you just need to finish anything off, guys, just remember to pause your screens. Okay, number 3. What caused Hattie to open her eyes? What caused Hattie to open her eyes? Okay, pause your screens and have a go at that one for me. Okay, well done, guys. So it says here, if you look through the story, and it's on this first page, we need to find where it talks about her opening her eyes. So here it says that she opened her eyes. If we read the whole sentence, it says, just as she was drifting off, little footsteps caused her to open her eyes. So that's the answer to our question. Little footsteps are what caused her to open her eyes. So you might have put that, or you could have put someone coming into her hedge caused her to open her eyes. Okay. Question number 4. Find and copy a word that means wet. Okay, so we need to look at the text and find and write down a word that means wet. Okay, so pause your screens while you have a search for that. Okay, super job, guys, well done. So you should have found at the bottom here, it says she stuck her furry and slightly damp nose out of the hedge. So damp is another word of saying a little bit wet. Okay, so you should have written down damp. Again, if you need any more time, just pause your screens. Okay, and that brings us on to our writing. So what features does a story have? We're going on to do some story writing for the next few weeks. So the first thing I want to know is, what features does a story have? Okay, so I'm going to just come off of my screen here, and I thought we could write down together some features that that a story has. Okay, so think about a story. So the one we did for reading, that's a story. Okay, look at how it's written, and I want you to think, and if you can, remember anything we've learned in the past, some features that a story might have. We'll go through some together. Okay, so think about what's at the top of the page. What does a story start with? It starts with a title, doesn't it? So we know that a title is a feature a story has. Okay, it has what are the people in the story called? Characters. So a story has characters. Okay, what else might a story have? What features does it have? What do we always have to put in all of our writing? Like when we use our adjectives, what's that for? It's for description. Okay, so we need description and adjectives in a story. Okay. Think about a little bit more vaguely now about a story. So it's got characters, it's got a title, and it's got description. But what about the storyline? What's the storyline called? Like, what happens in the story? What do we call that? Does anybody know? That is called the plot, or the plot line of a story. Okay, that is basically what the story is. Okay, so a story has got to have a plot. What else does a story have? If it has a beginning, so it has a beginning. What other parts of the story do we have? That's to do with the plot. What else does it have as a beginning? It has a middle and it has a ending. Okay, so a beginning, a middle, and an end. I'm going to leave that list there, okay, because your task for today, I'm just going to put the PowerPoint back on, you've got to write a list of features in a story. Okay, so I want you to put your title as features in a story, and I want you to write a list of what features a story has. So you can, I'm going to pop this back up quickly, you can have a quick look at some of those, okay. But I want you to try and come up with some more if you can. So things that we'll find in a story. Okay. So I'm going to put the other slide back on. So if you want to have a quick look at these a bit more, just pause your screens. And I'm going to put the other one back on now. Okay. So I'm going to keep this one on so you can look at your sentence checklist. But in a list, you're not really using sentences. So in here, all I'm looking for is your capital letters, your finger spaces, and your good letter formation. Okay. So pause your screens and have a go at writing your list for me. Super job, guys. Well done. So that takes us on to our maths. So we've got our challenge cards that I'll give you a few minutes to have a go at. Okay, so pause your screen while you have a go at the basketball challenge. Super, guys. Well done. So I'm sure you've come up with lots of combinations, but the highest score you can get is 9. Okay. And then there's a few different balls you can add together to get these. So just make sure you've checked those, okay? But you could have added, for 7 points, you could have added 4 and 3. Okay, or 4, 2 and 1. And for 10 points, you could have added together 4, 3, 2 and 1. Okay, so if you add all the balls together, that would make 10 points. Okay. So, second card, pause your screen and have a go at that one for me. Super job, guys. Well done. So the answer for this one is 52. Okay. Well done for having a go at that, guys. So, we're moving on to something a bit new in maths today. Okay. I would like you to see if you can see. We are looking at describing turns. Okay. So, what I want you to do is stand up. Okay. And you can face your screen or your computer or the window, face anything you like. I want you to have a go at doing a quarter turn. Okay, if you're not quite sure what a quarter turn is, then don't worry because we're going to go through it a bit more in a minute. Okay, I want you to have a go at doing a half turn. And a 3/4 turn. Okay, so we're going to go back and have a look at that all together. Okay, so if you are standing and you're facing this way, sorry guys, it's really difficult to try and explain this without being able to actually show you. So if you're looking this way and you're doing a quarter turn, okay, let's say we're going to say we're turning this way round, okay, so we're turning that way, following this arrow. So if you start off facing this way, a quarter turn would mean that you're now facing this way. Okay, so that is a quarter turn. So if you start off facing the door over here, and you've got a window over here, and you do a quarter turn, you'd be facing the window. Now, if you started here and you did a half turn, you would then be facing the opposite way. So it's just like turning around and facing the other way. Okay, that is a half turn. Now, a 3/4 turn is if you look that way, and then you turned all the way this way. That would be a 3/4 turn. So you start facing this way, and you turn all the way around, nearly the whole way around, but not quite, and you stop here. Okay. And then if you started looking this way, and you turned all the way around and ended up turning that way, that would be a full turn. Okay. It is a bit tricky, but we will be doing lots of practice. Okay. So I want you to have another go at the do it and then tell me which way you've ended up facing. Okay, so pause your screen and have a go at that. Okay, well done, guys. And I will secure it. So the arrow is facing this way and then it turns to face this way. So Miss Bowen says that this shape has made a half turn. Is she correct? And explain your answer. Okay, pause your screens and have a go at that for me. Okay, guys, well done for having a go at that. So, you should have said, no, Miss Bowen is not right. That is not a half turn, okay? That is either a quarter turn, if we're turning this way, it's either turned a quarter, or it's turned 3/4 the other way. But what would a half turn look like, okay? So if this is how I'm starting, a half turn would look like this. I would end up facing this way. So that cannot be a half turn. That is not a half turn. Okay, that's either a quarter turn or a 3/4 turn. I would deepen it. Steph turns her number shape piece and it finishes facing this direction. What direction could it have started facing and what turn could it have made? Okay, so have a go. You can draw it out in your books. That would be fantastic. Draw it facing a different direction and tell me what turn it's made. And your challenge is to see how many different ways you can find. Okay, so pause your screens and have a go at that one for me. Fantastic, well done guys. So there's lots of different answers for that one, so it's not something we can really go through together. I'll give you one example though. Okay, so if the direction started, if the shape started facing this way, so just upside down, it would have done a half turn. Okay, or if it was on its side like this, it could have made a quarter turn. Well done Year 1, that's the end of our video for today, so don't forget to keep sending me your work and activities, and I'll see you again tomorrow.